are you out?
Start reading totally blinking death!
Plot twist, guys. The good guy ain't always who you think it is. But sometimes neither is the bad guy. We've all been baited by a twist villain once. And man, we love a good twist. But what if I told you there is a secret weapon in storytelling that hits way harder than an evil reveal? The twist hero. The ones you thought were sketchy, the weirdo nobody trusted. The one hiding in the shadows, but then they're not the villains. No, they're the truth. The real ones. The ones who save the day while we're all too busy judging them. Today is finally about the heroes who fooled us. In the best way possible. So forget twist villains, let's talk twist heroes for once. Starting off, let's abso-fucking-lutely talk about Bruno, guys. Because when it comes to a twist, this man is top tier. Creepy whispers, rats in the walls, ominous green visions. Disney definitely wanted us to think Bruno was this sinister villain. At least, I definitely did. Like Ursula, Scar, and Maleficent, Bruno was also on Team Glowstick. So when I saw his same green neon aura, my brain screamed immediately, bad guy alert. Even his family thought he was cursed. He was the literal black sheep of the century. But the thing is, Bruno didn't hurt anybody, he warned people. And when those warnings came true, they blamed him instead of facing reality. Bruno didn't leave because he was evil. He left to protect his niece from his narcissistic and abusive mom. He saw a vision of his niece possibly causing the family's magic to break. Instead of exposing her and starting a panic, he vanished. He just completely cut himself off from his family.
But I knew how it was gonna look. I knew what everyone would think because I'm Bruno and everyone always assumes the worst, so...
And no, not to some beach getaway either. This guy isolated himself in the walls of his family home. With rats, eating crumbs, watching from the shadows, and still fixing the cracks with whatever he could find. He was the self-sacrificing hero. I also don't agree with people who think Bruno was slightly evil because of Peppa's part. You know, the one. I know. It sounds shady, like he wanted to ruin the wedding with a thunderstorm. For a second, it may feel like he's a little evil. But I mean, she might have asked Bruno about her wedding day and maybe kept pestering him about it until he told her. This caused her to get sad and anxious, which caused the rain. Her own emotions made it rain. That's Peppa's power. She can control the weather. We don't know the details of all of Bruno's prophecies, but it's likely people kept bugging him for their future and then were upset when he predicted it like it was his fault. People wanted his visions until they didn't like what they heard. Instead of dealing with the truth, they blamed the messenger, over and over. He became this misunderstood weirdo in the family story when really, he was the only one trying to hold things together and save everyone. That's not just a twist, that's tragic. And his reveal was truly heartbreaking. Even when he's misunderstood, feared, and rejected, he chooses kindness. I felt so guilty of blaming him in the first place. That's why this twist felt so hard. You think Bruno left because he was bitter, but it was because he cared. He was like this ghost in the wall who never stopped watching out for the people who gave up on him. Before we move on to the next, I need to quickly mention someone. The real ones know he belongs in this twist hero list. Guys, we of course can't forget Shadow the Hedgehog. He is the coolest.
I'm the coolest.
Shadow shows up in Sonic looking like Sonic's evil dark twin. He's cold, mysterious, and ready to destroy humanity. Shadow starts as a wild card, maybe even the villain. But actually, when it counts, he's all about protecting people. In 2, his memories were rewritten, and in 3, he was driven by grief. But just like Sonic, he is great when done right. He is underused and underappreciated. He peaked in Sonic 3. That movie was my favorite. He's not out for chaos, but for justice. Am I weird for wanting to pet his chest floof? Please tell me I'm not the only one. Now a cocky demigod who steals a glowing green heart from a sacred island, nearly ends the world and sings about how awesome he is. Add another raging lava demon with murder in her eyes and a fireball arm that could roast your whole town from space. Damn, These guys sound like straight-up bad guys, right? Well, we were wrong, entirely wrong. Moana flips the script. Twice. First, Maui. He checks every "this guy is the villain" box at first. A real trickster. Cocky, unpredictable, and he literally steals the heart of a goddess and kickstarts the end of the world. But then the twist. He didn't steal it out of greed, but to help others. To help his people. Maui was abandoned as a baby by his human parents, left behind, tossed in the waters.
They took one look and decided they did not want me.
Only to be picked up by the gods from the sea. When he finally got power, he felt like he mattered. After all those years abandoned. From that day, he devoted his life to giving people everything they wanted. The humans in return celebrated Maui as their hero. However, when there were no more gifts to pull, Maui decided to bring humans the ultimate gift, Te Fiti's heart. To give humans the ability, the power to create life itself. Being different and immortal was the only way Maui could be relevant. The only way he feels relevant, loved. So instead of becoming the ultimate hero, he became a villain in someone else's story. The world started to die. He lost his fishhook, his symbol and identity. He lost his sense of worth. That's what makes him the twist hero. He didn't have to fight some evil force. He had to fight himself. The lie he made, the lie he believed in, that he was only worthy if he was useful. Next to Maui, we have Te Kā. Pure rage, fire, smoke, and everything you can wish for in a villain. But then, this raging monster is Te Fiti all along. Just a broken, heartless goddess. Moana didn't defeat her. She saw her for who she really was. Okay guys, cartoon twist. Chad from Codename. Who remembers him? Chad was the guy of the KND. So when he betrayed the team and joined the Teen Ninjas, I was shocked. Chad was a traitor, damn. It looked like the ultimate sellout, but then, turns out Chad never really flipped. He was a double agent, part of a secret program where older operatives stay in the shadows to protect the organization. He was basically Revolver Ocelot. Chad didn't turn evil, for God's sake, he turned into a legend. I hope everyone remembers him, man. From one misunderstood legend to another, Silver from Treasure Planet. If there's ever been a Disney character who lives in the gray, it's Silver. He's not really the villain, but also not the hero. Just a man stuck in the middle. At the start of Treasure Planet, Silver is suspicious. He has to be the villain. But as the story unfolds, something changes. Something weird happens, he starts to care. About Jim, genuinely. Not in a soft, obvious way, but in little, meaningful moments. It was heartbreaking to see the inner turmoil between his better, worse selves carry on until he ultimately chooses Jim's safety over Flint's trove. This Disney movie made me bawl as a child in the theater. That final scene where the clouds form his head scared the hell out of me too. And okay guys, I know. He actually maybe was a villain at first. He redeemed through his actions. He grows to love Jim to the point he's willing to give up the treasure he sought after the entire movie. We watch him change and struggle to become the man he wanted to become. He saved not only Jim, but also himself. He's someone who chose to become the hero. So, Silver? Maybe he is more like a twist villain hero. And do you guys remember his cooking scene?
Whoa! These gears have been tough getting used to, but they do come in.
That was so satisfying to watch. It all flows so smoothly. He's full of character and loves what he does. Man, this movie is like a fever dream to me. One I wish I never wake up from, to be honest. I like cyborgs just because of him. Treasure Planet is definitely a peak movie. So many great designs. And speaking of people who look like they destroy everything in sight, I just need to mention this underwater biker. The most hilarious fake-out in animated movie history, this damn dude. I don't even know what he's called. Does he even have a name? However, you'd think that he hates chocolate or has some rabies, sequence rage-filled love for chocolate. Still can't decide which one it is. and is chasing SpongeBob and Patrick out of rage. But no, he actually wants to buy all their stock, which allows the two to enjoy a nice and fancy dinner. I mean, he certainly deserves a good guy label. Next, we have the most musically dramatic family in Pixar history, the Riveras. The ones who banned music so hard that they literally tried to stop their own great-great-grandkid from following his dreams. At first glance, the Riveras from Coco feel like villains. They feel harsh, controlling, like they're killing his joy just to keep their shoemaking legacy alive. But here's where it gets interesting. They're actually not villains. They're not evil. They're just scared. Scared of the past, scared of what music did to their family, or what they thought it did, and scared Miguel might end up abandoned like Imelda was. This isn't about ego anymore, it's about pain. The family seems antagonistic because they want to send Miguel with the promise that he would not pursue music. Especially Imelda, since she was the matriarch of the family. While not allowing Miguel to pursue music is definitely wrong, they do genuinely care for him and try to return him as opposed to Ernesto. Imelda was only against Miguel pursuing music because she believed it would be a bad influence on him and hurt the family, so even then, she was only doing what she thought was best for his own well-being. Having learned just as much as Miguel did, they allow him to pursue music so long as he doesn't forget his roots. What makes them twist heroes isn't that they were right, it's that they learned from their mistakes. They go from being Miguel's main roadblock to his support system. Just look at Hector. Even before he knows Miguel is family, he's desperately trying to send him back home. Not to use him, not to manipulate him, but to save him. I like how Hector freaks out when he realizes Miguel is risking his life. Even though Hector's entire existence is about to come to an end, for several scenes he's much more worried about just getting Miguel home. I always wondered why the Riveras have the surname Riveras. But now I guess it's a respect thing for Imelda, since she was the one that saved the family and took charge after Ernesto abandoned them. I just found out that in Mexico, the wife doesn't change her surname for the husband's surname. She keeps the surname of her father and the kids get it as a second surname. But when people refer to the whole family, they usually do it by using the surname of the head of the family. And, well, since Imelda became the head of the family, and also it's a matriarchy in this case, that's why they are all the Rivera family, I suppose. Back to the real subject. The Riveras may have made mistakes, but they never stopped caring. That's the real twist. So they're not heroes because they were perfect. They're twist heroes because they were willing to admit they were wrong and they changed for the better. And by the way, does someone remember the invader from the day Earth blew up in Looney Tunes? They enslaved everybody with bubblegum, only to just then reveal that the bubble gym is to protect the Earth from a rogue asteroid, and the alien wanted boba tea in exchange.
Behold! All hail the resource.
Freaking fucking boba tea. Well, that's a twist. Now a twist hero that's a pure Disney brain blender? Louis from Meet the Robinsons. Louis is not a typical twist hero. He's not mistaken for the villain, and he's certainly not undercover. But the twist that makes him a hero? It's because the entire future, the wild family, and the chaos, it all came from him. He is the awkward, weirdo orphan kid nobody wanted, who grows up and changes the world. Louis is this hopeful genius boy just trying to find a family. His inventions keep flopping, his roommate is bitter to the core, and the world doesn't seem to care about him. But then some random guy drags him into this sci-fi time travel race. And then, plot twist. It's his damn son from the future, showing him this whole fantasy world with flying cars, built by him. Man, I wanted to be just like Louis and be an inventor, to build the future and become the father of the future. I used to play this game on the Wii. And okay guys, I know. Meet the Robinsons is not about Louis turning good since he was never bad in the first place, but it's about him realizing the truth. He's already a hero, he just doesn't know it yet. We were watching a lost orphan boy, but we were never realizing that we were also watching the man who literally built the whole future. So we all love a good twist, right? Especially that moment when the good guy turns out to be evil. It's cinema. But twist heroes? They deserve more recognition, more love. They hit differently. They are not perfect. They screw up, make mistakes. Betrayal in a movie shocks us, but redemption? Man. Twist heroes challenge how we judge people. We label them wrong. As monsters, traitors, nobodies, and then the whole story flips. Bruno wasn't a curse, he was the glue holding and protecting his family. Maui didn't steal out of greed. He gave too much of himself trying to be loved by others. And Silver? He was one bad decision away, but he chose love instead. They show us that it's not too late. They give the story meaning, that people are more than their worst moments. That even when the whole world is against you, you can still do the right thing. To still be the hero. I know we all love a good twist villain, but a twist hero? They give us full circle moments. The heroes we misjudged. Man, they are so underrated.